So that shifts now to the final team, who we all know is going to be absolutely in last place yet again. The team that just continues to fumble everything they do. Okay, the New Orleans Saints. Greg, we know you hate them just as much as we do. We know that you say fuck the Saints every night before you go to bed.
Every night, yep.
Every night. You look like that kind of guy. I trust you because of that. I could see it in your eyes. You hate the Saints, and you've always hated Sean Payton.
He won't say it. He can't say it.
He can't say it, obviously.
There's a lot you're reading from a polite nod, but yeah, sure.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Saints, were they able to at least make some headway on all the shit that they have going on in that team? The quarterback who's telling people at church he needs to go or he has an injury. Then you got Rattler, who apparently was going to be the savior. Now he's not the savior. What the fuck is going on in New Orleans? And have they been able to kind of chip away at that? Or are they just going to be, the 80s Bucs version of the NFC South here for the next 15 to 20 years, Greg?
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, for them to be in kind of the cap situation they're in right now, where you're just stuck kind of stapled to a lot of aging veterans because you really can't afford to cut them, you have to draft well. Like, you have to really hit on your draft. I mean, that's kind of how the Bucs survived that post-Brady void year cap hell. Was they drafted really well, and they got a lot of impact from cheap guys on rookie contracts. And that's why they had sustained success. And for New Orleans, I mean, New Orleans won 5 games, like their worst record in 18 years or whatever it is. So
hell yeah,
the draft well. And I mean, it's one of those where it hurt. I mean, they put a second year in a row, you take a tackle in the first round. Kelvin Banks is a big guy, might be an answer for them. They've clearly recognized that Trevor Penning is not the answer. I mean, you've got Buag on one side, you got Banks on the other now. They're putting a lot into Tyler Shuck. I don't know if that's the answer or not. I think there are a lot of quarterbacks in this class that people were wrong about, at least in terms of thinking where the NFL thought of these guys to be. So, I mean, Tyler Shuck, when he was talked about as the 3rd round pick, surprised me just because he's 25. He's going to be 26 when the season starts, and played 7 years of college football. I mean, and it's one thing if you can't beat out Justin Herbert when you're 18 years old, but really wasn't an NFL radar quarterback until this past year at Louisville. So I was looking at the numbers all time on quarterbacks that start as rookies when they're 25 or older. And in the Super Bowl era, it's a really short list. The most touchdowns thrown by anybody in that group is 14 in a year. I think that's Brandon Weeden, maybe. Like Weeden and Wenke and Aiden O'Connell, I think, are the only guys to even get double-digit touchdowns in a season. As
Wenke, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Hey,
Chris,
show respect.
Wenke was like 28 as a rookie. He did a career of minor league baseball before he played.
He looked like everyone's dad when he was at Florida State. So, I mean, hey, I'm a Florida State guy. Love Chris Wenke. Amazing. Awesome. Him, Peter Work, unstoppable. Okay, but let's be real. Guy was already retired by the time they got drafted in the NFL by the Panthers. So,
so again, they drafted 9 guys. I think there's some good value guys within those 9. They're going to need them to step up just because they haven't been able to kind of keep their best depth, if you will. Corner is still a concern. They traded away Lattimore last year. I don't know if they really have found an answer to replace him yet. So they're suspect. I mean, they have a first-year coach. They have what looks like a 25-year-old rookie quarterback. I think if they get Olave to stay healthy, if they get Rashid Shaheed to stay healthy, I think they have, the talent to be a better team than they were last year. Some of the reason they were bad last year is they had quarterback injuries and they had receiver injuries, and they really weren't a functioning offense. And they weren't that good in defense either. So they can get a lot better, kind of like the Bucs, just by getting healthy. And that's a good start for them. But again, I think they have to have the same way. If you're worried about the Falcons, and Penix working out, you have to have a little bit more uncertainty for Tyler Shuck and him being a guy that steps up as a rookie star. I mean, it could be Rattler. There could be some miracle cure to Derek Carr's shoulder that has him play. But, it's wild to think that Bryce Young is the second oldest quarterback in the division, but he is. And he probably is in terms of experience, in terms of age. So I'll be curious. I mean, the Saints, again, expectations couldn't be lower. We don't know who Kellen Moore is as a head coach, how well he can be as a play caller while he's a head coach. But their window there for that whole, Ramczyk is gone now. You had Kamara from that 17 class to have, Cam Jordan and DeMario Davis are 35, 36 years old. So their window, for them to have a relevance post Breeze for those guys is pretty much this year. It's hard to imagine too many of those guys being back next year. For them to get back under the cap, I mean, they have decent amount of cap room right now. They're not really doing much with it, but I mean, they haven't necessarily gotten out of the woods. You know, the Bucs, for the most part, are pretty much free and clear of all their post-Brady cap issues. You know, I mean, it's a little bit of dead money, but like $10 million in dead money now. So that they're free and clear. Saints very much are still kicking the can down the road. And I mean, Derek Carr, as much a non-factor he might be, I think will have like $69 million in dead cap next year on their 26 cap. So, you know, it makes sense to try and start. If you can click around a rookie quarterback, that's one way to kind of get out of some of the economic shorthandedness you have, is to have, hey, you know, starting quarterback makes whatever, 10 million for the next 4 years. That helps make up for that. That's what they need to happen for things to click and for them to get back to being a competitive team and a challenger in this division.
Greg, if you combine Kirk Cousins' salary and Derek Carr's salary in this division, I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that both of them are just going to be, you know, non-factors.
Yeah,
and they're making more money than, you know, we can even imagine. It's
and what it does is it reminds you how fortunate the Bucs are to have nailed Mayfield. Okay, because Mayfield probably had less coming to Tampa than either of those guys had. That
Greg,
Carr had.
Call him Baker. Don't call him Mayfield. Continue.
So for him to come in and not just play well, but kind of be a leader. I mean, that's one thing you haven't seen. Like, I mean, Derek Carr, you don't see him as a locker room guy who they've rallied around New Orleans. You really didn't see Cousins, I think, when he was going. I think when he had, you know, the first half of the season, probably had a little at Atlanta, but it's just really fortunate. You see how much of a crapshoot that, you know, veteran on the rebound type deal can be. It doesn't always work out like it has in Tampa.
I mean, they have such
the whole swag thing, the swag surfing thing, that wore very thin as soon as they started just blowing games left and right.
Greg, I mean, like, what do the Saints do with this quarterback situation? It's just such a mess. Derek Carr didn't sign up to be a clipboard holder. He wasn't signing up to go mentor a rookie. Rattler had the feeling that he was gonna be the guy, and they were kind of empowering him. Then they say, "Hey, go run around behind this Swiss cheese offensive line." Also, we suck everywhere else as well. And then they go and draft a rookie quarterback. And so my question to you after all this is, how hard did you laugh when they drafted Tyler Shuck out of Louisville?
I mean, I kind of thought they would draft a quarterback. I mean, people thought they'd take Shador at 9, you know? So,
but
I mean,
Shuck of all people, like,
right. Shuck. Well, and the problem is that I feel like I get that if you don't have a quarterback, you're always trying to get one, right? That's the NFL today. But I feel like what they've done, this is 3 years in a row they've drafted a quarterback. It's like a half court shot. It's like you keep taking them, but there's so little chance. Third day draft picks just haven't clicked in the NFL. I mean, we see Brock Purdy and you get excited because Brock Purdy was a 7th round pick. He's really the exception. Like if you look at the last 10 years, third day draft picks for quarterbacks, pretty much him and Dak Prescott, and that's it. So for them to say, hey, Jake Haener, 3rd round pick, see what he does. And then before he's really had a chance to do anything, you overwrite him with Spencer Rattler. And Rattler might have been a little bit of value when they got him last year, but he was 0 for last season. And then whatever confidence you might have had in Rattler, you overwrite because now you brought in somebody who's less experienced and somehow older than he is with Tyler Shuck. So between the three of them, it's kind of like you need a $5 bill, you need a $10 bill, and we got 3 ones. And it's just not the same thing. He could surprise us. There's lots of people that spoke really highly of Tyler Shuck in this whole draft process. I was there in Mobile and saw him and didn't even, I wrote on the guys who could be late round quarterbacks. And I wrote about Dart and Milroe and Riley Leonard and didn't even write about Shuck that much. So I could be that I've completely missed it. And what he showed at Louisville in throwing 22 touchdowns is something that translates. He's going to be physically more mature, intellectually more mature because he's played college football for 7 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that translates to him being the guy that gets the Saints out of the hole they're in right now.
Let's hope not. Let's hope Mickey Loomis is there forever. All right. They can just continue to add third day guys and just stay in purgatory. I don't know, until I'm dead and gone. That would just make me happy if I could.
Well, and honestly, I mean, the path they're on right now, if they're the team that everyone thinks they are, their path is a legacy pick and having Arch Manning there at the top of this draft.
That's all they care about. That's all they talk about.
That's kind of what the next. I mean, that Manning family means a lot in New Orleans, so don't get me wrong. It would be a nice thing for them to do that. It's just a long grind to draft quarterbacks 3 years in a row and then take a higher pick in year
That's
four.
That'd be 4 years in a row. As you're eating a $69 million cap hit, you said, for Derek Carr on top of that?
Mayfield, I looked at teams that have drafted quarterbacks in the top 5 rounds 3 years in a row. There's only I think there's 4 of them in the last 20 years. But Mayfield's one. I mean, Browns took Cody Kessler and it didn't work, and they took Deshaun Kaiser and it didn't work. And he was that third guy. He was that, all right, let's just use a first round pick, number 1 overall. And again, he's obviously not helping Cleveland anywhere, but that's eventually you're going to hit one that works.
That's the genius of Jason Light, Greg. He's able to play this 4D chess where he's having other teams make first round quarterback selections for him. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to say, is Kyle Trask the second best quarterback in the NFC South right now? Do you think?
I'd even say yeah.
No. I mean, again, Cousins is still there. Carr is still there. I don't know what their health is right now. I mean, Penix, in theory, should be a better quarterback than Kyle Trask. I mean, Kyle Trask is an unknown. He sat here for 4 years. But if you ask NFL brass to draft the quarterbacks in this league, I think Penix probably goes before. Now, Trask versus Shuck, I don't know how that one shakes out. That's somebody else's call to make. But no, I mean, Trask, because I mean, the Bucs speak very highly of Trask, and it's not even like it used to be. You'd say, "Oh, he's been in the offense, so it helps." No, nobody's been in this offense. Right. I mean, everybody's new in this offense. They could bring in anybody, and they'd have as much experience in this offense as, for the most part, as Kyle. I mean, I think it'll be a variation of what they had last year. I don't think Brizard's going to go that far from what they won with Cohen, but he could bring in a new guy really easily. So no, I thought for them to get Trask on the cheap, some of the cap math where I think it counts like 1.4 million against the cap, they got a good deal on him, and I think there's still upside to him. I mean, it's one of those where he hasn't played at all, but he also hasn't played badly at all. He just hasn't had a chance.
Right.
He's stuck behind 2 quarterbacks that don't come off the field, so you don't know what he is.